Good morning and wish me luck. I'm going to try a couple new things here. Um, the first is I've created an Excel spreadsheet for the Vouch and Trace project. I've never used it before. I hope it works better than the web-based project. Second is I'm trying some new techniques that I've never used before. Uh, so in order to work this project, it's best if you can view two screens at the same time. And one way to do that is, so I open my spreadsheet. Let me get my pointer going here. I should have it. There's my pointer. So I come down here and I hit the sales journal tab. Any tab will work, but I'm going to hit sales journal. And then I go up here and I click view. And I should get something like this with new window. And I click the new window tab. And I get something like this. Now I would set my Excel spreadsheet to not cover the full screen. If you cover the full screen, you won't be able to see the new window. If you set it to a partial screen, then you'll see your original spreadsheet here and your second view here. So then I hit view again. And I get something like this again, and this time I hit arrange all. I already have a new window, so I'm going to hit arrange all, and then I get something like this pop up, and I'm going to use the vertical. Now I'm going to arrange the windows vertically. That's the way I like them. The student who taught me how to do this preferred horizontal, so I don't care whichever way you like. I like vertical. That's not a right or wrong. But another thing important about this is a student taught me that you guys teach me so much, right? So you can't tell by looking, but I'm an old guy, so I need your help. If you can think of better ways to do stuff, don't hesitate to tell me. I'll try to learn. Okay, and then after I hit arrange vertical, I get two screens like this, and then I can click on different tabs to see different documents. So now I've got my two screens that I can work with. Now, if you struggle with that, another way to do the same thing, not as good, right? So that's the best way to do it, period. But you could create a copy of the spreadsheet and have two spreadsheets open at one time. Like I say, the previous way is vastly better. Okay, so here I am. I'm clicked the customers tab now, and I'm looking at customers, and I'm going to look at Copeland Sports. That's the customer we're going to deal with in this little example, and notice their address and who the authorized purchaser is. And then I'm going to do the price list. Now, I suggest if you can, print out the customer list and the price list. It'll make it easier to complete the project if you have those in front of you all the time, the customer list and the price list. If not, I guess you could open your phone and have them there, but you will need the customer list and the price list as you go through this. I'm going to start with the sales journal. So I'm going to hit the sales journal tab. There's Copeland Sports. Remember I said we were going to start with Copeland Sports here. So, and I'm going to use the invoice number from the sales journal to open the corresponding invoice. So I go to the invoice tab and there pops up the invoice. I type in 6532, the invoice number from the sales journal, and I get the corresponding invoice that relates to this transaction. Now, I'm going to agree the information from the sales journal to the invoice. Now, there's not much. The date on the sales journal should be the same or later than the date on the invoice. The customer name should be the same. The amount should be the same. Okay. Now I'm going to agree the prices on the invoice with the official price list. Remember I said if you could print it out. I'm going to agree the address on the invoice with the customer list. And I'm going to make sure I see this shipping document number on the right-hand side. Okay. Next, I'm going to compare the information on the invoice with the shipping document. So I hit the shipping document tab there, and there's my shipping document number on the invoice. It's referenced. I type it in there and enter it, and lo and behold, it will bring up the corresponding shipping document. I'm going to agree the date on the invoice with the date on the shipping document. The date on the invoice should be the same or later than the date on the shipping document. The customer name, customer address, and the quantities. Whoops, I got a problem. The address. It doesn't look like these goods were actually shipped to Copeland's address. So now I'm going to compare the shipping document with the sales order. So there's my shipping document. I can see the sales order number there. So I hit the sales order tab. I enter 10161 in the upper left-hand corner, and that'll bring up the corresponding sales order. I'm going to agree information on the shipping document with the sales order. The date on the shipping document should be the same or later than the date on the sales order. Customer address and quantities I'm going to compare. We already know we have a problem with the address. I'm going to agree the sales order with the customer list. I'm going to look for the authorized signature. Oh, George is not an authorized purchaser for Copeland's. The address, we already know we have a problem. It was shipped to a different address. And I'm going to agree the prices on the sales order with the price list. Okay. I know I have a problem with the signature. I know I have a problem with the address. Also, I know you may or may not be aware of this, but this purchase order ABC 999 does not make sense when I compare it to previous sales orders from Copeland's. So I can see I can see it all, right? But I can see from a previous sales order to Copeland's that this purchase order does not appear to come from the same PO pad. If you have two or more entries from the same customer, you want to compare the purchase orders and see if they seem reasonable. Okay, so read the assignment. I've attached a copy of the assignment and sample work papers with the email I sent you. You're going to pick 10 items from the sales journal. Don't care which 10, the first 10, the last 10, the middleest 10, the biggest 10, the smallest 10. I don't care. Okay, the project, I want you to do it conscientiously and try and understand what you're doing and understand why. If everything agrees, this will provide evidence that the sale actually occurred. If they don't agree, then we've got more work to do. But I want you to start to form what is evidence. Don't care if you get things right or wrong as long as you do it conscientiously and think about what you're doing. I've sent us sample work papers along with the email. You can use those as a template to build your own work papers. So they're in Word. You should be able to just enter in and update it. Work papers and public accounting are plagiarism. You take the last year's work papers and you update them for the changes that you made. In this case, there's a spreadsheet embedded on the second page. You should be able to open that spreadsheet and just enter the information from your sample. So you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to use what they used last year. The second paragraph on the first work paper. I picked an example, an item on the sales journal, and walked through the process step by step so that the person that does this next year can follow my example. Uh, I want you to pick a different item and walk it through step by step. So again, you just update it for the new information. Okay, good luck. If you have problems, call me. My phone number's on the email. My email's on the email. Uh, this is just for those of you that want to get a little head start. And I think the sooner you get an idea of what evidence looks like, the more the course will make the more sense to you. Anyway, hope to see y'all and good luck.